Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all for being here. My name is Christina Busby. I am the president of the Uvalde County Bar Association, and we are sponsoring this forum tonight. I'd like to recognize the other officers and board of directors of the Uvalde County Bar Association. Sarah Simmons, the vice president and president-elect for 2017. She's in the back. Sarah, can you say hello, please? Thank you. Treasurer is Andrew Hagan. Andrew, municipal court judge. Thank you, Andrew. The secretary is Charles Downey. Our board of directors include Rogelio Munoz, who's also the Democratic County chairman, Paul Tarski, who's not here yet, and John Dodson, your county attorney. So tonight, this is a forum. It's not a debate, so we want to make that clear. What we are going to do is ask each candidate to introduce him or herself. They have up to 5 minutes to talk about themselves and tell you about themselves. After that, we have asked everybody that's here to write down a question or a concern that you may have. We will then pose those questions to the candidates. Whatever question is posed to whatever candidate, we will ask that question of each candidate. And so with that, let me introduce everybody. We have today present is Mr. Pete Gallego for the United States Representative, District 23. Mr. Gallego, thank you. We also have present on behalf of Mr. Carlos Dureste, Ben Olivo, who's a candidate for state senator. We also have candidates for Sheriff of Uvalde County, Charles Mendicki. Democratic candidate also Otto Arnhem. For tax assessor collector, candidate Diana Urege Flores. We also have the Republican candidate for tax assessor collector, Rita Cordova Versta. Present for Constable Precinct 1 is candidate Eddie Obregon, Democratic candidate. Democratic candidate Johnny Field. And we have Constable Precinct 2 candidates David Valdez. And Constable Precinct 4 candidate Bo Watkins. We also have present on the ballot, but with no opponent, Republican candidate Danny Kindred for District Attorney for the 38th Judicial District. Okay, Mr. Kindred in the back. We also have the Republican candidate with no opponent for 38th Judicial District Judge, Judge Camille Dubose. And I think that's everybody. Did I miss anybody? Okay. We are going to start with Representative Gallegos at this time.
Can y'all hear me if I just talk? Instead of using that? First of all, let me say it's an honor and a pleasure to be with you. I'm a big fan of Uvalde County. I've been here a lot, had the privilege of representing Uvalde County in the legislature for a long time. A lot of fights, a lot of experiences with water and those kinds of things where I helped Uvalde County in Austin for a long time. Was privileged to have carried Uvalde County in my race for Congress this last time. And I will tell you I'm running again. And for me, really, it isn't that complicated. I'm frustrated by what happens in Washington. And I'm frustrated that we never seem to make any progress. I don't know how many of you are parents, but for me, that's the experience that changed my life. And it changed my life in this way. When you're raising a child, you have to teach them the difference between right and wrong. And if something is wrong, it's wrong no matter how many people are doing it. And if something is right, it's right no matter how few people do it. Well, in Washington, the answers are kind of really not well thought out. And what I mean by that is nobody asks, is this a good idea or a bad idea? Because that's what we teach our kids, right? Don't do bad things, do good things. But in Washington, the question is always, whose idea is it? Whose idea is it? Because one side doesn't vote for the other side's idea, and the other side doesn't vote for the first side's idea, and at the end of the day, nothing gets fixed. And for me, as somebody who grew up in a small town and grew up in Alpine, I just like to fix. I like to make better. And that was my record in the legislature, that was my record in Congress, bringing people together, talking to each other respectfully in order to get the job done. And I will tell you that public service, making things better for people, is my passion. And it has more to do, again, with the fact that when I grew up, my family in Alpine had a restaurant. In fact, my family had a restaurant for 80 years. From 1917 to 1997. So I washed a lot of dishes in my life. I didn't cook a lot because my dad actually wanted people to come back to the restaurant. But I tell you that story because I've had this incredible opportunity to do some incredible things. And you know what? That's what we want for our kids. If you look back and you think about what your grandparents did for a living, or your great-grandparents did, and think about the house that they grew up in, and think about the progress that has been made to now. That progress, I want that progress to continue for our kids and for our grandkids. I don't want to be part of the first generation of Texans or Americans that leaves their state or their country worse off than our fathers and our mothers and our grandfathers and our grandmothers left it to us. And the only way to do that is for all of us to band together as Americans and to demand that people be held accountable and that they change and that they do the right thing for the right reasons. And that's why I'm in there. That's why I want to do this one more time. And that's why I'm here tonight asking for your support for the 23rd District position in the U.S. Congress. Thank you all so much for having me.
The next candidate we want to introduce is Senator Carlos Oreste, Mr. Ben Olivo as his representative.
I will use the mic. I wish I had a booming voice. There you go. My name is Ben Olivo. I represent Senator Carlos Oreste. He regrets he couldn't be here tonight. There was a committee meeting in Austin today, and when I was driving up here, he was still at that meeting. But I want to tell you a little bit about Senator Oreste. He has served as a Texas lawmaker for a little over 19 years, and he served as District 9, as a District 19 senator, for a little over 9 years, and he's represented his district very well. A few of his core issues. He's done a lot to fight for abused and neglected children, in which he was able to get an additional $30+ million for a total of about $115 million to help combat that problem. He also founded the Blue Ribbon Task Force, which is a statewide task force that addresses abuse and neglected kids. He's also passionate about fixing Texas's broken public school system. He's a regular opponent of funding cuts to our schools. And as a Marine, he's been very vocal about fighting for the benefits of Texas veterans. If you want to know a little bit more about the senator, I have these cards that I've been handing out to some of you all. it talks a little bit more about his issues. And I've only actually been working with the senator for about 2 weeks. I'm brand new to politics, so it's a little bit nerve-wracking for me. But I will try and answer as best I can any questions. And I've talked to a few of y'all already, and y'all said that you voted for the senator. We appreciate that. And if you want any more information, I have some cards and we can talk to you. Thank you.
Next, we'd like to go to the sheriff's race, Sheriff Charles Mendicky.
I'd like to thank the Bar Association for sponsoring this event, and the citizens that are at home watching at home, and the citizens who arrived tonight to watch this very important political process. You know, when I was sworn in as sheriff in 2009, we've come a long way. Well, I was a sheriff on No Pound Street, is what I call it. We had an old jail that housed 28 prisoners. Now we have a new jail that houses 214 beds. And now we're housing federal prisoners. And we used to pay $800,000 a year to house our prisoners out. We're not doing that no more. Thanks to the county commissioners, we got a 214-bed facility. Now we're housing federal inmates for 4 years now. We brought in $5 million back to the taxpayers of Uvalde County. And you may say, well, Sheriff, how much does it cost to house a prisoner? Well, it only costs us about $18 a day. The old jail used to cost us about $32 a day. We brought the meal cost down from $12 a day to $3 a day, $1 a meal. So that's pretty good progress for the taxpayers. I'm spending your tax dollars wisely. And I'm bringing money back to this community by these federal prisoners. When it comes to the law enforcement side, we started out with 9 deputies on No Pound Street, and thanks to the county judge and county commissioners, they give me the tools and the manpower. Now we're up to 13 patrol, and they're doing patrol now. And they're doing this 24/7 now, for the first time in Uvalde County history. We got 2 criminal investigators, in reference to homicides, assaults, burglaries and thefts, crimes against our elderly, and crimes against our children. They're doing an excellent job. We also have a gang and narcotics investigator who is assigned to the Homeland Security Investigations, which is a federal agency. We've made some major arrests on our gang members and our drug dealers in this community. And there's some of these individuals that will never come back to our community because of our joint efforts in law enforcement together. I work with the district attorney, the county attorney, adult probation, and several federal and state and local law enforcement agencies. There's a week or two that I might have ATF, Homeland Security, DEA, all working together under one roof. We might even have the district attorney's office under my roof one day. We may have the district judge out of office or on standby to do a search warrant. We're all coming together to better serve you. And as your sheriff, I will continue to do so. Thank you.
Otto Arnhem.
I may not need this microphone. Can y'all hear me all right? Okay, then we'll use the microphone. My name's Otto Arnhem, folks. I'm running for sheriff here in Uvalde County. There's a couple of reasons, some fairly recent reasons that have come to my mind that have convinced me to run for sheriff, because I think we need to make a change. There's some things that haven't been done that need to be done, and I want to enumerate a couple of them if I can. These are concerns of mine. We've had recent allegations here in this county of corruption in the sheriff's department, drug use, and different things like that. At this time, they're allegations. But in the agency that I used to work for, DPS, the Department of Public Safety, I can assure you that if anything smelled wrong with any officer in the department, if any kind of accusation was made of impropriety or any kind of misconduct or illegal activity, the department would immediately suspend that person with pay, conduct an investigation, and I mean a short investigation. They get to the bottom of what was going on, and if it was found out that there was some illegal activity or something wrong done, the person would be presented to the property prosecuting agency for indictment, and the person would be fired from the department. I wish that was done here. We need to do that. We need to solve any problems that the community feels that is an issue. We need to get to the bottom of them quickly and resolve these issues. Another situation that happened, very, very unfortunate here a couple of weeks ago, we had a very bad tragedy in the county, y'all are aware of it. I was called out there the following Monday because these people that lived out there and family members had vehicles out there that they had no keys. And of course I own an A1 lock and key right now, so I went out and tried to help these folks out. I think it's very, very important for the sheriff. The sheriff is the head of his agency. In a tragedy like this, any kind, even more minor situations, this is a major issue. The sheriff has to be up front. The people advised me that they had not had any contact with the sheriff. And I think it's most important, part of the sheriff's job is to console people. This was a horrible tragedy. These people came in from out of town, their loved ones are no longer with them. They can't even think straight. They don't know what's going on. They have a lot of questions they want answers to. The sheriff needs to console these people. You need to come out there and let them know we're on the job, keep them up to date what's going on. This is just a natural thing that people go through. And they need to have that reassurance from the head boss, whether it's the chief of police, the sheriff, or whoever's handling the investigation. Another area that I'm interested in that came to my attention, and I'm pretty well up on this issue, CopSync. You folks may not know anything about CopSync, you may not know what it is. CopSync is a revolutionary, inventive communications and reporting system for law enforcement that's just coming online. It's been online a couple of years. As a matter of fact, the people that have created this business and own this business, they have property here in Uvalde County. And I've spoken through other people with them about this deal. And I know that CopSync was issued to Uvalde County. It's a very expensive situation. These things cost money. I think the amount was like $273,000, if I'm not mistaken. And we don't have it. It was issued, it was going to be free. It wasn't going to cost us anything. And I'm concerned about that because I think that all law enforcement, we have so many things going on in this country right now, so many very, very severe things that could easily happen at any time in this country. And we need to move as fast as we can and become as innovative as we can with up-to-date technology, up-to-date reporting systems. This CopSync program is instantaneous reporting. Any agency, and by the way, I believe that the city of New York is purchasing this right now. The individuals that own this company have been up in New York for a couple of months working on trying to get this transition taken and sell this program to that agency up there. Anyone that's involved in this organization has instantaneous feedback from any other agency that's involved in it. It's really important. I think we need to look at getting this program. And I appreciate your thoughts. Thank you very much.
We will go to the constable race, precinct 1, Eddie Obregon, candidate Eddie Obregon.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank the Bar Association for allowing us to make our presentation. For those that don't know me, I want to just kind of give you a little highlights of my career. Back in 71, 72, I started as a law enforcement officer with the city of Poteet. There was some controversy going on, and the chief of police there was let go. I was promoted to chief of police, and then I stayed there for several years. Then in 1975, there was an opening that came up at the city of Dilley. Dilley is my hometown, so I went and applied. I got hired, worked as a patrolman for about 6 months. The chief of police that had been there had just won a constable position, so they promoted me to chief of police, and I stayed there in Dilley till March of '83 when I come to work for the Uvalde Police Department. I worked for the police department for several years. After about 6 years, I was promoted to a patrol sergeant, and then later I was promoted to an investigator, and I worked with the PD till 1995. I had a traffic accident, one work related, but I ended up having back surgery, and while I was out of the law enforcement for a term. While I was recovering, I went to work security at the Uvalde Memorial Hospital. And later I was appointed to the position of constable that was vacated by then Constable David McCutcheon. I was appointed by the Commissioner's Court to fill his term, and I stayed there for several years. I'd like to ask for your vote, your support, so I can get that position back again. Thank you.
Candidate Johnny Fields, Precinct 1.
Good evening, I'm Johnny J. Fields, and I have the absolute pleasure and honor to be serving my first term as constable, Precinct 1. It's been a true blessing to be able to serve the community for 15 years in a law enforcement capacity. Prior to being constable, I did work with the Uvalde Police Department, where I did work my way up the ranks all the way to captain over the patrol division. As a constable, I pride myself in not only carrying out the duties of a constable, but also maintaining a regular patrol duty, coming out, doing some traffic control, assisting the local sheriff's office and the local police department, and staying active in the community. This is where I was born. Well, I was born in San Antonio, but I've lived here all my life. This is where I was raised. This is where I'm raising my children. This is home, so I want to keep my home safe. Now, I really appreciate the time to come out here and speak with you today. Thank you very much, and I would appreciate your support for the upcoming election.
Mr. Larry Watkins.
I'm Beaumont Watkins. I'm born and raised in Uvalde County, lived in the house I was born and raised in.
Can't hear you.
Anyhow, I'm still here. I started out in law enforcement as a reserve, and I was a reserve under Sheriff Kelly for many years. He asked me to become a deputy. I became a deputy. Later on, was elected sheriff. I served 2 terms as sheriff. Since then, I went back to my ranch, and I think it was 5.5 years ago on my birthday, as a matter of fact, the Commissioner's Court appointed me to fill an unexpired term of Precinct 4. Subsequently was elected for 1 term. This is my first term as elected. I've had 43 years as a certified peace officer. I hold a Master Peace Officer certificate. I've been to the National FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia. I'd just like to ask for a chance to serve you for another 4 years. Thank you.
Constable Ray's Precinct 4, Mr. David Valdez.
Good evening, folks. My name is David Valdez. I'm a longtime Uvalde resident. My parents also own a restaurant here in Uvalde. I've been working with them for 23 years. And I always felt a calling, from the Lord. The Lord put something in my heart. I always wanted to be involved in the law enforcement community. So in 2015, I decided to leave the family business for 18 weeks and attend the academy here at the junior college. So I went and I prepared myself, and here I am today, a reserve deputy with the Sheriff, Charlie Meneke. I appreciate him giving me the opportunity to come on and being a part of the law enforcement community. And, Mr. Bob Price is here today. He didn't always going to say this, but I always looked up to him. You know, whenever I was growing up, I always saw him being out there and patrolling the community. And I always said, you know what, I'm going to do that one of these days. Be able to keep my family and all my friends safe here, be a part of, you know, the law enforcement community. And, you know, he was somebody that I looked up to, Mr. Bob Price. And, you know, I have very little law enforcement experience. I'm a rookie, if you will. But I've been helping my parents manage their business and my business for quite some time. So I look forward, and I also have 3 children, and I'm deep-rooted here in this community. I'm not going anywhere. I am ready to go and hit the streets, and I have been doing this during the campaign. One of the things I've been hearing is that, you know, we need a little bit more patrolling out there, and I wish to compliment the Sheriff's Department, local PD, by doing that if elected. And I appreciate your support for this coming election. Thank you very much.
Tax assessor collector race, Democratic candidate Ms. Diana Rodriguez Flores.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Diana Rodriguez Flores, and I'm a native of Uvalde County. I am running for tax assessor collector and the Democratic ballot.
Can't hear you, Diana.
Oh, you can't? Did you hear anything I said?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm running for tax assessor collector for Uvalde County on the Democratic ballot. I'm a native of Uvalde County. I'm surprised. Have 9 years experience of working in the tax assessor collector's office. During the time working at the office, I have attended law seminars and have been trained to run elections and do voter registration. I have been cross-trained to work with vehicle registration. I can also assist with title transfers. And so I am asking for your vote and support. And thank you.
Tax assessor candidate, Republican candidate Rita Hurston. I'm going to step away from the podium because I don't know if you'll see me if I stand behind it. Good evening. I would like to thank you for being here tonight. I'd also like to thank the Bar Association for putting on this event. My name is Rita Cordova Bursta. I've been a resident of Uvalde County for almost 32 years. I bring 26 years of customer service to the county. Currently, I'm a probation officer for the 38th Judicial District, CSCD. I'm also a unit supervisor. I believe that my experience as a supervisor has enabled me to utilize my leadership skills. While working full-time and raising a family, I pursued my education. In 2003, I graduated from Southwest Texas Junior College with my Associate in Arts degree. In 2005, I graduated from Sullivan State University Rio Grande College with my Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice and a minor in Psychology. I completed my educational goals in 2009 when I earned my Master of Science degree at Sullivan State University in Alpine, Texas. Uvalde County has been good to me, and I want to give back to the community. I realize that the taxpayer comes first, and customer service is very important. Uvalde County is growing, and the needs of the community are growing with it. If elected, I propose to implement serious cross-training amongst employees so that my staff can satisfy the needs of the customers. I have communicated with counties around the surrounding counties, and I have researched what has been successful in their county, because at one time they were a small county as well. And I've researched with them to find out what has worked for them, and I want to implement those same concepts in Uvalde. I am asking for your vote. If elected, our staff will exceed the expectations of the customers. It would be an honor and a privilege to serve as your next Uvalde County Tax Assessor Collector. Thank you again. We'd like to ask the 38th Judicial District Attorney, Mr. Daniel Kindred, to say a few words. He is on the ballot. He doesn't have an opponent, but we'd like for him to say a few words and introduce himself to y'all.
Good evening, folks. It's great to be here. It's nice to see you. I've been your DA for 2 terms now. I enjoy working with the Bar Association, all the members of the bar here, and serving our community. I grew up here in Uvalde County, near Utopia, Texas. My family still ranches there. This place is near and dear to me. I enjoy helping my community and trying to make this a safer place. Anything I can ever do for any of you, please talk to me, let me know. Our office is always open. I'll be happy to speak with any of you, and I look forward to being in your service for another 4 years.
We'd like to introduce your candidate for the 38th Judicial District Judge. No opponent, but on the Republican ticket is Judge Camille Dubose. We'd like her to say a few words. It's okay, you're in heels.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to take a lot of your time. I'm very grateful to be unopposed. I'm sure these candidates up here were wishing that they were. I've been there and I have my sympathy. It's been a privilege to serve the citizens of the 38th Judicial District for the last 8 years. The people here are good people, and I consider it a blessing and a privilege to serve you. I hope to continue to do so with efficiency and with courtesy, and to work with all members of the community, with law enforcement, with the district attorney's office, with the local bar, and with all professionals to make sure that our cases proceed in a timely and efficient fashion, and that justice is administered with mercy. Thank you.
I will turn the microphone over to the Bar Secretary, Mr. Charles Downing, who has some of the questions that were asked. Thank you.
Hi, folks. Good evening. Can everybody hear me? I'm Charlie Downing. I'm the Secretary of the Uvalde County Bar Association. Christina asked me to ask questions tonight, and I agreed reluctantly. But I thought it's obviously easier to ask the questions than it is to answer them. So I'd like to thank the candidates again for being here and answering these questions. And it's also easier when I get provided the questions and all I have to do is read off the cards. So thank you all for providing questions. We're going to try to get to all of them, but we don't have a lot of time. So if we don't get to your question, we apologize in advance. I'm going to ask some questions, and some are going to apply to certain candidates, some are going to apply to certain posts. So what I'll do is I'll just ask the question, open it up, and one of the candidates might not have a response to one of the issues, but if you want, you can opine on it or just pass the mic. So without further ado, we'll get started. So the first question has to do with the Uvalde Jail, and the question is, how would you operate in the Uvalde Jail? So I hand the mic over to constable candidates and the sheriff candidates. If anyone else wants to give an opinion, they're welcome to.
What was the question?
How would you operate
I think that would be a question for the sheriff's candidates. Don't you think that would be an appropriate thing?
Obviously, the jail is run by these standards that the state of Texas has. There are certain guidelines that have to be followed. I'm sure that these guidelines are being followed now, and you know, the interest is maintaining safety in the jail for the jail people that are working there, as well as for the inmates. Very, very important, and that seems to be a possible issue that needs to be addressed, maybe tightening up some of that, but that would be my response. State jail standards.
I'll tell you what, we opened up that facility in 2011, December 2011, as your Uvalde County Sheriff. I've got some excellent employees working for me. I got a total of 41 working in that jail. I got a jail administrator that had 20 years of jail management with Texas Department of Corrections as a major. And believe me, those floors are cleaner than the hospital floor. We passed inspections every year at that jail, and I expect that jail to provide more dollars for you as the taxpayer. I will guarantee you that. We pass those inspections because those employees are doing their job. What they're going to do different, they're going to continue doing their jobs because they do their jobs well. And we believe me, when it comes to the state, they love inspecting our jails because it's kept up, it's clean, we follow the rules and the policies. Thank you.
So our next question also has to do centered on law enforcement, and the question is, would you continue to work with federal law enforcement? So I'll open that up to any of the constables that want to talk about that, and also the sheriffs.
My answer would be most definitely. As constable, when I was holding that position, we always worked with all the other agencies, Sheriff's Department, Police Department, and FBI, Border Patrol.
Yes, sir. My answer would be absolutely the same thing. I think as conditions evolve in the country and in the state of Texas, and we're on the border, very close to the border, I think it's very important to maintain relations with your neighboring counties, other county sheriffs. When I worked for DPS, of course, we had concurrent investigations, joint investigations with the FBI, mainly in my work as a narcotics agent, it was with DEA. We also work with the FBI, but absolutely, the cooperation between all agencies is most important to maintain security and get the job done.
I agree with what the gentleman said. You know, that's one of the things that I said at the beginning. You know, I want to compliment the Sheriff's Department and the PD helping them out. One of the things that I hear out there is, you know, there needs to be more law enforcement presence, and that's what I plan to do. Thank you.
I'll just echo again, interoperability is key to serve the community, and that should be the first priority. So communicating with each other and other law enforcement agencies is the best thing for the community that should be done.
I've said this many times before. I will continue to work with federal agencies, in state, in local. I may have 13 patrol deputies, but believe me, something goes bad in Uvalde County, in my jurisdiction, I can tell you within 30 minutes, you could have about 25 federal officers responding to the Uvalde County Sheriff. I don't have to ask them. If they hear me in trouble, they're coming to run. And that's for you, the citizens. So as your sheriff, I'll continue to work with my federal agencies.
Our next question is for all the candidates, and the question is, what do you consider to be one of your biggest accomplishments? And so I'll turn it over to Mr. Watkins.
First of all, I started the DARE program countywide. I provided location for the Border Patrol checkpoint at no cost to the county. When I took office as sheriff, I think the capacity of the jail was 28. No, it was 34. I put a patch on the old jail that allowed us to stay open for another 8 years? 8 years until we were able to convince the Commissioner's Court to get a new jail. Another thing that I think that I did well, I think I impacted the drug dealers in Uvalde County. I recall that one time we arrested 38 people in one deal, but we did that every year. Again, that was done at no expense other than the county providing the card. We did that with drug funds seized, or seized drug funds. Thank you.
I would say that my biggest accomplishments are my children. Because without my children and my family, my longevity in marriage, I wouldn't have the perseverance and tenacity to accomplish a job. My second would be my education. I come from a family of 8. I was the first in my family to graduate from college and pursue my master's degree. And so that's a big accomplishment to me. And my employment, my longevity of where I've been, the 26 years that I've been in public service here in Uvalde is a big accomplishment for me. And I enjoy what I do, I'm successful at what I do, and I want to continue serving the county in a different capacity. Thank you.
I think that Senator Uresti was up here right now, and he would probably consider the first point I made, which was all that money, the $30 million plus money that he helped get for abuse and neglected children. He's been, in Austin for almost 20 years, so he has, he's done a lot there. I think during the last session, he had a 99% voting record. He was there for 99% of all the votes. So he's done a lot. He's looked at a lot. He's sponsored a lot of law. But and again, I've only been with him for a couple of weeks now. But that's the one thing that he keeps saying over and over again is his fight for abused kids in Texas. So, thank you.
I've got several major accomplishments. Of course, my family, my wife, and my 3 lovely children, I'm most proud of them. As far as work relations goes, I'm most proud of my 25-year career with the Department of Public Safety. During that time, I had many different jobs. I tried to do the best I could in each job. I learned so many things in every different service I was in. My last part of my career was spent in the narcotics service. I ended up arrested hundreds of people in my career. We had ton cases that I took to federal court where we got that type of drug off of the highway, marijuana, cocaine. I'm very proud of the job that I did. I'd like to continue doing that. As a matter of fact, Bo mentioned about those roundups those years ago. We were involved. I was up here. I was stationed here as a trooper at that time, and we were actually involved in the cooperation, working to pick up these local criminals on that drug roundup that he was speaking of. Thank you.
One of my biggest accomplishments is all the service that I've provided here in Uvalde and the other municipalities. Not to say that all the education that I've received through continuing education classes at their local college here in Uvalde, there are too many to number. I've got a folder full of certificates from different law enforcement classes that I've taken. Thank you.
to adult children, and especially having the opportunity to have worked in that tax assessor collector's office for 9 years, the experience that I've had, and also learning the ins and outs of, working in the office. And so I would say that all that experience will lead me to provide more services and create a more focused, pleasant, and working environment. Thank you.
One of my biggest accomplishments also would be my wife and my children, my family. And for education, I graduated here from Sol Ross with a bachelor's in business administration, and one of the other accomplishments would be graduating through the academy there. When I was attending the academy, they weed out cadets pretty quickly. This is not a job for just anybody. It takes a special person to serve the community, to serve and truly protect the community. And I think that's a really big accomplishment for me because, here I am today. I was the old man in the academy, 37 years old, and I was the old man. I'm going through the academy with 21-year-old young men, and kind of looked at me like, you're gonna make it, but I was persistent, and here I am, asking you for your vote so I can start a career in law enforcement.
Of course, wife and children being the greatest accomplishment, but speaking law enforcement related specifically, my greatest accomplishment is earning my law enforcement instructor license to be able to instruct other officers, and getting my degree in law enforcement, where I'm able to share everything I know about law enforcement to younger officers coming up and having mutual respect among the other officers out there.
Well, as Sheriff of Uvalde County, I guess you could say the biggest accomplishment I've been able to provide the taxpayers is working good with others, other law enforcement, making these major arrests on our gang, our drug dealers, get them out of our community, like I've said before, finding ways to fund Uvalde County Sheriff's Office, federal and state grants. And by the way, we brought in $3 million in 2 terms I've been sheriff to help fund the Sheriff's Office. And those are tax dollars, not directly from you. And of course, that jail income is great, and it's very great. And most of all, I truly enjoy being your sheriff. Thank you.
So this next question is probably directed to the tax assessor collector candidates, but again, I'll ask anybody to give an opinion if they'd like to respond. So the question is, do you think that the Uvalde County Independent School District should ask for a bond given the issues that have arisen with the appraisal district?
I'm not sure I want to answer that question until I'm in office. I can't answer any details. I don't think that's a question, a fair question. Honestly, I don't. I don't think that's up to me to decide. I think that's up to the taxpayers to decide that question. Do you agree, Ms. Bonus?
This next question is probably directed at all candidates. What could the Uvalde leaders do to increase economic growth in Uvalde? So I'll start here.
I don't really know unless it's just the economics of the city.
My response to that would be, as far as the Sheriff's Department is concerned, or law enforcement in general, working more closely with the local agencies to reduce the amount of crime that we've got in Uvalde County. We have a stigma of gangs here in Uvalde County. We need to work on that as diligently as we can. that's been done in the past, and this is a continuing situation that has to be dealt with. And I think if we got the word out, or people thought that Uvalde was a safer place and not quite so gang infested, that certainly the economic situation would benefit.
I'll pass on this one.
Economic growth in the community, I see with the junior college and Sul Ross State University bringing more students into the area. I've seen the junior college grow, I've seen the university grow, and I think by bringing more students into the area, a lot of them will stay here. And I think that would help with economic growth. Thank you.
As far as law enforcement goes and economic growth, if law enforcement provides a more stable and safe community, then you would have more economic growth.
Economic growth pertaining to the office. It could be, really can't answer that. I mean, I have to, I'll be unable to answer it.
For the economic growth for our town, for our county, one of the things that I see, I recently purchased some of the older buildings in the downtown area. I'm doing my best there to, revive them, give them CPR and bring life to them. I think I've done a fair job. But, that's one of the things that I see for our community. The things that need to be cleaned up and, just put them to work.
As far as economic growth goes, I'll echo keeping this community safe so that people want to come here and spend money and spend some time, maybe even move to Uvalde and help Uvalde to grow more. And then volunteering in our local shelters, our local community fundraisers that we have to promote things within the community to help each other out is very important as well.
Commissioner Flores, don't get mad at me. Commissioner Flores, he's in the room tonight. We're standing in a Fairplex, Uvalde County Fairplex. He took the chance, he got it built. Thank you, Commissioner. We got an arena out here that stays busy all the time. So that's bringing growth. You got people discussing now having the youth rodeos out here from Corpus Christi. So you're bringing people from other counties of the state. They're just going to spend their monies here. And because the commissioners and the taxpayers, I can say this, because we moved into the old jail, now the old jail to the new jail, we had 34 employees, now we got 70 employees. So hey, that's growth. So commissioners, thank you.
Our next question from the audience is, Uvalde is at the center of two major highways. Do you see that as a reason for the criminal activity in our town? And I'll start with the chairman.
Two longest highways in the United States, Highway 90 and US 83. It makes it very popular. It's the gateway to Mexico. It's the gateway to go up north. It's the gateway to go down south to Uvalde. But no, it does not cause crime in Uvalde County. Every community has crime in Uvalde County. Uvalde County is a safe place to live, work, and raise your family. Remember that, folks. It's not always bad. We got good here. As your sheriff, I want to keep the good here. Thank you.
As far as the highways contributing to the crime, I don't believe it does either. I think being able to police the community and having the community be open to speaking to law enforcement and open those channels of communication to keep our neighborhood safe and free of crime is going to be key to reducing the crime. So I don't believe it's the highways themselves, it's the people.
I also believe that the highways do not bring that much crime into the community. You know, one of the things growing up that I was told was, you know, like in a big family, the bigger the family is, the bigger the problems are. You know, if you compare Uvalde to Houston or San Antonio, you know, they're going to have more problems than we do. And doing the good job that the law enforcement community does here, that's why I did not leave Uvalde growing up. Because when I was growing up, they would always encourage me to go to the big city, go find that big job. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay in Uvalde. This is my hometown. I love the people here. And I wanted to keep this place a safe place for my family, for my kids to grow up 10 years.
I also agree. I don't think it's, I believe it's also safe and enough to live here and continue to live here.
Activity, any community, it all boils down to the people. The people control, especially if they will talk to the law enforcement. And we can't do it all on our own. We don't have a magic ball. We can look in and Joe Blow over here breaking the law. The people need to get involved, and they need to talk to the law enforcement.
I don't think it's the highways that make the crime rate. It's the people who make the bad choices. And it's the choices that they want to make. And our law enforcement community, it's up to us to patrol the area and do what we're doing now, the good job that we are doing now, and working with these people to avoid recidivism so that they are not continuing to be a hindrance to the community.
I don't live here, so I probably shouldn't say
Thank you. I'm not sure that Highway 90 and the fact that Highway 90 and Highway 83 are the longest roads in the United States. We have to keep in mind, though, that the transportation of criminal activity goes on every day. It can go down that highway, it can go on a city street here, and we have to maintain vigilance and be always observant as law enforcement officers and officials for any type of criminal activity that could be conducted or transported on the highway.
Well, I don't want to sound like an echo, but some of these things that these individuals have stated are true. However, the main arteries, Highway 90 and 83, can you imagine how many drug deals go through that these officers don't pick up on? I imagine there's quite a few, along with smuggling cases and whatever. So it's kind of like the presidential race. You know, you got a lot of opinions. So everybody use your own judgment. Thank you.
Our next question is for the tax assessor collector candidates. What changes would you make in the tax assessor's office?
The changes that I would do is improve customer service. Customer service needs to be improved by having more by treating every individual with respect and creating a more focused and pleasant environment for them to work in. Also, I would I'm sorry. I'm not feeling well, and so I think I have a fever, and so I'm excusing myself. So
the tax assessor collector until if elected, if I get in that office, then I will be able to research the office in more detail to answer details about the office. I would like to see a number system in there, so when you go in, you're standing in line, you know who's next. If you grab a number, then it's next. And to cross-train employees so that every employee can serve the needs of the community. Thank you.
Our next question from the audience is for all of the candidates, and it's describe your experience in management and how that will affect your position.
I've been helping my family run the family business for 18 years. I took over my parents' restaurant, and back in 2000, I started some businesses of my own with my other family members. I think I bring that experience to this office, being able to manage whatever workload as far as serving papers, the warrants or evictions or what have you. My parents have instilled in me a hard work ethic that I bring into this office. And again, one of the things that I want to do is manage my time to be able to go out there and have the patrolling, the law enforcement presence that the constituents are asking for.
As far as management experience, I have extensive experience from the bakery I worked at growing up to the nursing home I worked there after, to work in the police department as a supervisor. However, as a constable, it's a one-man department, so the only thing I can say is try to hold myself accountable as I would my employees.
Well, as sheriff of Uvalde County, I started out with 34 employees. Now I've got 70. I think my first budget was like $2.3 million. Now I've got $4.4 million budget to take care of, plus the 70 employees. Any given day, it's like I was just talking about this, I think it was today. We were talking about a homicide this morning. And 30 minutes later, I was talking about an overbilled city bill from water to the jail commissioner. They overbilled me $5,000. But management, running the sheriff's office, is out on the streets, managing your deputies, correction officers, administrative staff, all in one day. Sometimes you have to do everything in 5 minutes, but I believe I perform my duties very well for the Uvalde County taxpayers and Uvalde County citizens. Thank you.
Manage your time and your employees, which, as constable, I am the only employee. I have to manage my time. I recently served the paper. I think it was last Thursday. I recall that I picked up the paper at 9:50. And it was fairly close in town. I'm trying to remember exactly where it was at. It was on Food Street. I don't know if you're familiar with where Food Street is, but it's in the northwest part of the city. I returned that paper at 10:09, and I did not break any speed limit or run any stop sign. I think that's managing your time.
Well, currently, I'm a unit supervisor, so I manage the probation department here in Uvalde. In my unit, I have 6 employees. I've also managed a caseload of up to over 200. I work closely with the district attorney's office and the judge's office, and currently I manage a specialty court for the 38th Judicial District for here in Uvalde and Medina County. I also oversee Real County. When the supervisor is gone in Medina County, I oversee the Medina County office in that unit. So I have worked with management, and I feel like my management experience has enabled me to utilize my leadership skills. Thank you.
Just real quick, Senator Uresti, again, I've only worked with him for a short amount of time, but I can tell you that he delegates, but he's also very hands-on at the same time. He does a lot of his own block walking. A lot of the tasks he'll just go ahead and do himself. A lot of tasks that he could very well just delegate to someone else. He also runs his own law firm, so and I can't tell you how many employees he has there, but he's been doing that for, I think, more than 30 years. And as far as the Senate staff, there's 10 staffers. I think 4 in San Antonio, 3 in Austin, and then 1 in Eagle Pass and 1 in Pecos. So he definitely has management experience.
At different times in my DPS career, I had opportunities to manage it. One time, as a motor vehicle inspection trooper, I maintained about 200 inspection stations, 300 inspectors. And as troopers, we had to train these individuals, we had to supervise them, we had to suspend them, occasionally we had to arrest them when they were doing violations and violations of the motor vehicle inspection laws. Later on in my career, when I became a lieutenant, I was sent to Austin. I was sent to a first-line supervisor school up in Austin. I maintained an office of intelligence analyst at the time when I was up there. I got to manage the state's Impress Fund, which is a multi-million-dollar fund that we managed and took care of out of Austin. Also, as A1 Lock and Key, I've owned that company and managed that business for the last 11 years, and I'm happy to say that during that time period, we have consistently increased the capacity of the office. Our budget has grown, and I'm very, very proud of the experiences that I've had in my career as far as management is concerned. Thank you.
We've got time for one more question. As it relates to the position you are seeking, what is the biggest issue facing the citizens of Uvalde County, and if elected, what do you intend to do about it? I'll start down here at the end.
Right now, the biggest issue that I'm facing during the early voting stage is the machine's not properly working to count the votes. And this has been a constant thing, and we've tried to get the present tax assessor to collector to work on them, get them going. So, as far as law enforcement, I'd like to see, my goal is to be seen throughout the city, the public, more patrol. A constable position is just like a deputy sheriff. You know, he's out there, he can patrol, he can write tickets, and serve the community, and that's what I'd like to do. That's why I want to ask for your vote and support. Thank you.
Okay. The biggest issue that I see right now with the job that I'm seeking is the integrity of the Sheriff's Department. I think we have an issue there. I think it needs to be addressed. I want to aggressively take the department in the proper direction, doing the right thing for the right reason at the right time. I'm interested in this job. We need to make a change, and I'm asking for your vote for Sheriff of Uvalde County. Thank you.
The biggest issue that I see right now in the office of the Uvalde County Tax Assessor Collector is customer service. Customer service is important. I see the need for organization in that office. I see the need for the training, the cross-training, and implementing a system that's going to work for Uvalde County. I'm not here to reinvent the wheel. I will continue to communicate with surrounding counties to see what has worked in that county, to implement that same concept here in Uvalde. Thank you.
Probably my biggest issue would be to continue to serve the court, to serve all civil process in a timely manner, passion. Thank you.
I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but you know, again, the constituents are asking for more law enforcement presence, especially in the rural areas, Reagan Wells, out there on 55, you know. And coming on, they're looking to be appointed, you know, that's one of the things that I'm looking for. I'm not here just to collect a check. I'm here to roll up my sleeves, put on my boots in the morning, and let's go to work.
I'm happy to report there are no huge issues as far as the office of constable, but there is a huge desire to continue to do more. A lot of people don't realize this, but the constable's office does not get funds. They don't have a vehicle issued to them. They don't have uniforms provided to them. So being able to provide that and do more for the community, be seen, be it a professional police department or law enforcement department is very important to me. So getting some additional funding, perhaps for some equipment, would be the only issue I face in the office. Thank you.
I say this as Uvalde County Sheriff. Uvalde County Sheriff's Office is doing great. No way.
I'm going to turn it over one more time to the candidates to say some brief closing remarks. I want to thank everybody for being here. Then I'll have Christina come up and say some last words. So I'm going to turn it over and just let the candidates say some closing remarks.
I want to thank everybody for coming out this evening. I want to wish all the candidates the best of luck. And, you know, God bless you. And, you know, one of the things, again, coming out, one of my main concerns is to be active in the law enforcement community. And I think that's what we're missing in the constable offices sometimes, you know, that just being active. And I thank you for your vote and your support.
I just want to say that people do things for a lot of different reasons. It may be a vicio, a vice, right? It might be a hobby. I do law enforcement and serve the community because it's a true passion. So I ask that I ask for your support in continuing to serve the community and engage that passion.
As Uvalde County Sheriff, deputies, and correction officers who are in this room, you have proven integrity, commitment, courage. I am the Uvalde County Sheriff, Charlie Minnick. I'm the best qualified candidate, asking for your vote and your support on March 1st Democratic primary. Thank you.
First of all, I guess I forgot to thank the attorneys but and you people for being here. I'm in law enforcement and have been for 43 years because I care for it. I care for you. I care for the community. And I hate to say this, but I think I am the best qualified candidate for this moment. Thank you.
I just want to reiterate, customer service. Customer service is big for Uvalde County, and coming into the tax assessor collector's office, it's important for you in your time. I want to avoid people coming in for repeated visits because the public does not have the information they need when they walk into that office. If elected, I will cross-train employees so that the public is informed. Thank you. I ask for your vote.
ask for your vote for Senator Carlos Uresti and encourage y'all to vote early. I think early voting ends February 26th. Thank you.
When we opened this interviews up this evening, I didn't get a chance to tell you much of my career, but I wanted to let you know that if you're interested, I have a Facebook page, Otto Arnhem for Sheriff. I have a couple little short videos in there, and it kind of gives my background. It tells you what my hope for the county is, my desire to work here and make this a safe place. I'm interested in the job. I need your votes. I would like to have your votes. One issue that I wanted to bring forth before I turn the mic over, as far as voting goes, I guess I've been dealing with this maybe more than anybody else has, and that's the situation of the Democratic and Republican candidates. It's a very difficult thing for people to understand, and I certainly understand why it's hard. If you want to vote for local candidates in this election in Uvalde County, you need to vote on the Democratic ticket. Most of the elections at this particular time, contested races are on the Democratic ticket. Republicans need to realize this. I have visited with several people that have come out of the polling place as Republicans, and they made the suggestion to me that, you know, y'all weren't on here. We were looking for you, but we couldn't find you. Well, the point is, everybody down here is running on the Democratic ticket. The primaries are on the Democratic ticket. So Republicans, please ask questions or ask the candidates that are out there in the polling places right now for early voting, and they'll try to explain that to you. If you vote in a Democratic primary, later on in the general election, you can vote any way you want to vote. You can vote for Democrats, you can vote for Republicans. All those candidates at that time in a general election are on the same ballot, so you can go any way you want to, crisscross, or do whatever you want to do. I just wanted to make that point. Thank you very much.
In closing, I just want to thank the Bar Association and you, the citizens of Uvalde, for taking the time to come and listen to us. And I want to ask for your vote and support. I'm not going to say that I'm the best man for the position, but my pledge to you, the public, is that you'll see me on the street and I'll be working for y'all. Thank you.
We want to thank all the candidates for being here. This is the first forum that the Uvalde County Bar Association has put on. We will be looking forward to doing this again. Thank you to Mr. Gallegos for being here and to Mr. Olivia for being here on behalf of Mr. Uresti. Thank you all the candidates. I just want to say that Uvalde County is very lucky because all of these candidates generally and genuinely believe in Uvalde County and want to make this a better place for all of you and all of our children. And for that, we thank each and every one of you. Thank you for being here.